Figure 5 in facsimile 3 of the Book of Abraham is identified as Shulem, one of the king's principal waiters. We don't know anything more about the man Shulem beyond this brief description, as he does not appear in the text of the Book of Abraham. Presumably, if we had more of the story, we would know more about how he fit in the overall Abrahamic narrative. However, there are some things we can say about Shulem and his title, the king's principal waiter. First, Shulem's name, as John Gee has documented, this name is widely attested in Semitic languages from the time of Abraham. This includes attestations in Old Akkadian, Old Assyrian, Old Babylonian, Middle Babylonian, Eblaite, and Ugaritic. Additionally, Shulem's title, the king's principal waiter, is arguably attested in ancient Egypt. In particular, the title butler of the ruler is a fairly close match to the king's principal waiter and is attested during the time of Abraham. But what would a Semite like Shulem be doing in the royal court of Egypt as depicted in facsimile 3? In fact, there is evidence of Asiatic migration into Egypt during the time of Abraham. A number of Asiatics residing in Egypt are also observed in texts dating to the time of Abraham, observes one scholar. They list Asiatic retainers, dancers, singers, and other workers. They further point to the presence of institutions for the coordination of relations between Asiatics and the local population. As some Asiatics bear Semitic names, it is likely that Levantines were still migrating into Egypt at this time. In fact, the Egyptian 14th dynasty was a local dynasty of Asiatic origin in the northeastern delta who are notable as kings with foreign, mostly West Semitic names. Once again, not only the names of the rulers, but also members of elite households show signs of Semitic origin during this time. So, from Shulem's name and title, we can surmise the following. From the form of his name, it would appear that Shulem lived during the late Middle Kingdom or the second intermediate period. Shulem was likely not a native Egyptian. He was probably a first-generation immigrant. He likely served in the court of a 14th dynasty ruler who was probably not a native Egyptian either. This external evidence reinforces the overall historical plausibility of the Book of Abraham.